Hey, it's Dan here. I'm so glad you could join in this little seminar on 4 smart strategies for arranging a small band. Of course, this is part of the Essentials in Worship Toolkit series, which is part of the Essentials in Worship training materials. I want to welcome you to head over to danwilt.com while we start and just sign up on the email list. I'll send you a free download, and I'd love to have you on that list because I'll send free resources like this. Lots of different tools and encouragements, worship team and worship leader devotionals, as well as other resources I think will encourage you along the journey. So I hope this is helpful. Let's dig in. 4 smart strategies for arranging a small band. Well, how do we arrange for a small band? We know how to think about larger bands and instruments, but how do we think about making great music with a small band, or even with 3, 2, or 1 person when we're leading? I think it's really interesting to think this way, especially when we're thinking about small groups, but also when we're thinking about venues that do have a sound system. You do have some larger environment, but you've got a very small band by intention or because that's what you've got to work with. This might be a setting where you don't have many musicians. That doesn't mean your sound has to be any less rich or compelling. I really believe it. 1 instrument, 2 instruments, 3 instruments can be as beautiful, can be as profound in the way they express and lead us in worship as a large band, as even bands with choirs and orchestras and the whole kit. So think of all the small bands, ensembles, or even 1-person singer-songwriters that are making beautiful music today. That should tell us that we can do it. You can do it with whatever tools you have. It just takes good thinking about how to arrange that small band. So here are some 4 strategies for arranging a small band and doing it well. Number 1, nail the essentials. Number 2, approximate the groove. Number 3, honor space. And number 4, know that what you have is enough. So first of all, let's talk about nailing the essentials. As you listen to a song, you're going to hear foundational elements that you're going to want to think through. Listen to what the kick drum, the drum kit, or even maybe it's a cajon, and the bass are doing. This is the groove of the rhythm section. If you have a rhythmic instrument, you can approximate that groove in some way. If you don't, if let's say you just have a guitar, you can still approximate the groove on the acoustic guitar. There are many ways that you can get a feeling of groove in a situation. I'm a huge fan of cajones to replace a drum kit. That's a box with the snare and the bass hit. I'm just a huge fan of those over djembes, over anything else. They approximate groove in such a powerful way that might be done in a larger kit, and they create their own sweet kind of texture of groove. It creates energy in a room when you have a cajon involved. So if you're looking for energy in a more celebratory song and you have 2 instruments or 3, make sure one of them is a cajon, and you'll see the energy level rise in the room. So think about how you can mimic that sound in the larger song, that groove, in a way that grabs the essence of the groove without trying to do everything else that surrounds it. Try to play an approximation of that groove on your main instrument, the main instrument that's leading there, that's going to give the most groove element to what you're doing of your 2 or 3 or 4 instruments. Once you've identified those essential elements, you're going to be able to build on top of that. So number 2, approximate the feel and the groove. So once you've dissected the song a bit, where the vocals come in, where the chorus comes in, what kind of sound and feel this song has, you're going to want to approximate that feel with the instruments that are available to you. So start thinking about the song in terms of layers. Once you've understood the essentials of the basic rhythm, the basic groove, you can then layer on an instrument, your next instrument, to come the closest to the instruments you're hearing in the recording. So an example, you've got a cajon doing the groove, and you have in the original recording with full band and everything else, this ambient guitar kind of soaring over everything. Well, you have 2 instruments. Maybe it's a keyboard and a cajon. Maybe you have 3, a keyboard, an acoustic guitar, and a cajon. Well, I would begin to layer. You have that feel that the cajon's creating. Now add some ambience. You can't do the electric sound, maybe you can if you've got a good electric player that's the third instrument. But I would then move to a pad on the keyboard, or half piano, half pad, so you get a little bit of rhythm from the piano sound, but you get the ambient feel from the pad. So you've just added another layer. Now maybe the acoustic begins to add the little inside rhythms and it works with the cajon. Or maybe it just brushes the main chords and just creates some more open space in the song. Again, lots of ways to do this. If you have an electric guitar player, they can do the ambient sounds, while the piano, maybe with a little bit of pad, is giving a little more internal, the inside rhythm, we'll call that. The inside rhythm that goes beyond just what the groove is that's happening. So start thinking in terms of layers. If you have a djembe, a guitar, and a piano in the recording, you might be hearing electric, acoustic, drums, bass, keyboards, piano, etc. But once you found that groove, just start to approximate bass and drums with your own instruments. The keyboard might play a few bass notes, with the djembe picking up the rest of the groove. Again, cajon for the win. Layer on the inside rhythm and mimic this part with the acoustic guitar. Number 3, honor space. Don't attempt to pull off the fullness of the sound that goes in the recording. You don't have the instrumentation, so don't try to make it busy to fill things out. As soon as you try to replicate the energy in the song, your small band is going to begin to overplay to compensate. Relax into the sound you have. Create space. It's beautiful. Just a piano, an acoustic piano, or a keyboard that's got some reverb on it. Just letting something ring fills the space. It doesn't have to be dense. If you've been trained classically and you're in a 2 or 3 person instrumental thing, you're gonna have to put tape on a lot of your fingers, so you stop trying to make it busy. Just create openness. It's beautiful. It really is. And it moves people. Let the small band be the cool small band that it is. In other words, do something special with what you have. And that gets us to what you have is enough. One worship leader said to me, I was in a setting recently where I had an acoustic guitar, a mandolin player, and a cajon player. We were playing some songs that in the recordings are full with orchestral sounds and layered elements. We resolved our instruments were enough. We weren't going to try to replicate the song. We were going to capture the essence of its energy. And the cajon player took the essentials, connected the groove with a rhythm that felt similar in keeping with the track. Then we approximated the feel of the song, identifying when the music rose in a crescendo and when it fell into a quiet melody. And the 3 of us worked to honor that space. We recognized that a mandolin doesn't have the capacity to mimic the fullness of keyboard pads. Okay? So with an acoustic guitar using open chords and just hitting them, on the beats or on every 4 beats, and the mandolin keeping the inside rhythm, our music swelled in warmth, in tone, to more than it seemed the 3 of us could accomplish, because they were each taking a part to fill in and open up that space. The instrumentation that's been given to you can be used to create beautiful music. So just try one idea the next time you're working with your small band. Most of the songs we use in corporate worship have strong melodies, a solid sense of progression, and dynamics that can be mimicked by a smaller band. Get that basic rhythm of the groove down. Approximate the sound of the song with the instruments you have available, the texture. Honor the space of the music. Don't overplay. Don't try to recreate the whole sonic event on that recording of that MP3. Create beautiful music together with open space so your instruments can express their unique, beautiful, remarkable qualities. And decide at the front end that what you have is enough, and you're going to be all set to arrange with your small band. So I hope that's been helpful. I'd love to send you a free download as a resource. If you just go over to danwilt.com, you can just sign up for the email list there. I'll send you a free download and some other free downloads, other resources, encouragements, worship team devotionals, and other tools will be coming your way over time. So again, thanks for joining in, and I hope it was helpful. 4 smart strategies for arranging a small band. Thanks for listening.